roads and up in the clouds, but I've always felt that something's missing. That was until I found you right there in the crowd. You came into my life and started a fire. You made me feel like I could touch the sky. Oh, there's nothing missing now that you're my desire. Now all I have to do is to make it mine. 'Cause I know, and you know what we could be. Like a song, like a perfect melody. Baby, don't say you don't believe in me. 'Cause you know, and I know, we're onto something good. You know, and I know, we got something good.
We definitely got something good today, y'all. Listen, welcome back to the village. I'm your host, Kim Jordan, and I am so excited today. As always, I want y'all to like and share. I'm so excited to be here, and we got some good stuff coming today. Our topic is Side Hustle 101. I want y'all to like and share, and I want to start with the comments and the questions. Don't wait, because I want to make sure we get to it all. We're going to be giving out nuggets and practical tips and insights. We have a subject matter expert in the village today. So if you want your question answered, if you need some insight and wisdom, you better be first in there with your question, sweetie, because we want to be able to get to it. So I don't want to delay the time with all the preliminaries. So let me just tell you a little bit about our guest today. She manages over 300 companies as a consultant. She has extensive experience leading and supporting political campaigns. She has helped Mayor Christman solidify another 4 years in St. Petersburg, Florida. She helped City Councilman Orlando Goods get elected as the Tampa City Council. She served as the Florida African American Coalition Director for Hillary Clinton for her presidential campaign. She is an established author, and she has a background in law with a degree in political science. Listen, village, we didn't just bring anybody. Help me welcome Miss Natasha Goodley. Welcome to the village, Natasha.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I am so excited to be a part of the village today.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So you are a senior consultant at White and Black Consulting. Is that right?
That's correct.
And so tell me a little bit about what you do there.
So White and Black Consulting is a business and political consulting firm. So we help individuals who are interested in running for office to get elected. And we help current elected officials run for reelection and get reelected. We also help individuals who are looking to start a business. We help them with getting the framework and the foundation to get that started. We also help small business and micro business owners who are already in business but are looking to expand, are looking to grow, are looking to access funding. So we help in all different aspects when it comes to business consulting.
Okay. All right. And so I understand you have resources available that you have created, you've authored for that to support that.
Yes. So 2 books. I wrote a book for business consulting and I wrote a book for political consulting. So for the business consulting, it's helping you with the foundation of getting your business together, the ultimate business plan formula. And for political consulting, it's everything that you need to know prior to deciding to declare your name in running for office.
Okay. Wow. Awesome. So this is super exciting. I don't think I've ever met anyone of your caliber, honestly, on a personal level. So to have you in the village is clearly an honor, especially when we're talking about the political side of things and knowing everything that's going on right now. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
So let's deep dive into our subject matter, which is Side Hustle 101. Tell us a little bit about how to create a side hustle.
Well, typically side hustles are created out of a passion or something that you're really good at. And so typically what I tell people is find something that you're really good at that people see some worth in. So for instance, let's say you make a really good pound cake and everyone outside of your family, everyone else is telling you how excellent this pound cake is, then that might be something that you start doing. Is it something that you could actually sell and make money? Because a lot of times we come up with great ideas, but we can't figure out how to monetize those ideas. And so without monetizing it, it's really not a business or a side hustle. It's kind of a hobby that you enjoy. So helping them take that love of pound cakes and monetizing it into a business that can, or a side hustle that can eventually possibly evolve into a business.
So basically, what I hear you saying is they're already coming to your desk to get a slice of cake anyway. They're already coming to your front door, getting a piece of cake anyway. So this is something that you're doing outside of your 9 to 5.
Right. Correct. That's the side hustle because typically you still have a 9 to 5 and you're doing this alongside that.
Okay. Okay. So are you helping individuals with side hustles outside of your normal consulting business?
Yes. So I have quite a few people who are trying to establish side hustles and those who have established them. Um, we have to break down what that side hustle is for individuals. For instance, uh, you might want to do your pound cakes and you make a great pound cake. But once we sit down and examine it, your pound cake is Duncan Hines and your special ingredient is like Mott's applesauce. And so it's not technically just yours. So you could sell it as a side hustle because people like your pound cake. But if you ever want it to grow beyond that, you're going to face some difficulty because neither of the two main ingredients are yours. You're just combining two other people's ingredients together and coming up with yours. So in those situations, we have conversations about how far are you wanting to take this because you can't take it too far because it's someone else's product. But as long as you're aware of that, then we can work the business accordingly. But if you have aspirations to open your own pound cake company one day, then we need to sit down and talk about creating ingredients from scratch.
So how much of the legal side do you have to set up for a side hustle?
Well, if you know where you're wanting the side hustle to go, then that determines exactly how much legalese happens in the beginning. Because another rule that I always tell my clients, even when establishing their business, is you have to know your begin game and your end game. Because if you don't know why you're establishing the business and what the end game is, you'll make decisions that could be counterintuitive to what you're trying to do. So if you're establishing a business with the hopes of being able to pass this down to your children, then you're not going to try to bankrupt the business early on because you want longevity. So knowing what you want in the beginning helps. So in the beginning, if I'm talking to someone and again, they know that I'm wanting to take this side hustle and eventually grow it into a business and have my own building and possibly franchise it out down the road, then yes, we'll probably want to bring in a lot more legalese in the beginning because you know where you're trying to take this. And so otherwise, you're going to find yourself down the road saying, I didn't get this trademark. Somebody's sending me a letter now saying I can't use this name. I've been using this name for 2 years. What do I do now? So knowing that in game is how we kind of know where to begin with you.
Okay. Okay. I think that makes sense. I, I often think about this, and this might be something that someone wants to ask, but in the example that you gave about the pound cake, and we're talking about ingredients, and everyone has a food allergy nowadays. Are they required to put some sort of label about ingredients on there if they're selling cake or selling food?
Depending on how they're doing it. So in Florida, we have the cottage laws. So if you're operating under the cottage laws and you're selling out of your home, you do not. If you're operating and selling, operating out of a commercial kitchen and selling in a store or establishment, then you do.
Okay. Okay. So I guess just knowing the law and kind of protects you a little bit. So, if and when we go back into the office and you're selling a piece of cake from your desk, you're going to need to have a little label on there from what I'm hearing.
You can sell from person to person. It's supposed to be sealed. You're not supposed to sell to like an establishment. So I couldn't sell my pound cakes to Burn Steakhouse to sell in the restaurant, because at that point it has to be done in like a commercial kitchen. So it has to be from consumer to consumer, and it's supposed to be sealed when you're doing it. So you can't kind of switch it up and change it up. So they're getting exactly what they ordered from you. So the cottage laws are a little tricky. Yes.
Okay. And so let's talk about the difference between a side hustle and a business.
So I like to look at it, a side hustle, as again something that you like, you have a passion for, just something you're good at that you're doing in conjunction with your 9 to 5, and it's helping to produce some type of revenue for you. Usually, that's where a lot of people start with their business. They start with the side hustle and cultivate the side hustle until it's at a point where it can kind of stand alone. It's kind of self-sufficient at that point. If you can build your side hustle into a job, is what I'd like to say. When you build it into a job, that means your side hustle has matched your revenue that you are making on your job. So let's say you were making $40,000 a year on your job, and you now have a side hustle, and your side hustle is making 40. The reason I say you created a job is because that is exactly what you've done, because you're working to do it. You've got to go out there and shake the tree. You've got to bake these cakes. And there's only so much you can do because there's only 24 hours in a day. So you created a job, and typically you've created a job that's more hours than if you were working on someone else's job, because you're not just doing the product, you're marketing, you're doing branding, you're doing everything. So you're putting way more hours than the typical 8 hours a day. And so once you get to that point, it's refreshing. But now at that point, many people feel burnt out. So because now I'm working 14-hour days to replace the income that I made making 8 hours. So at that point, you start to shift the model. And that is, okay, how can I bring in other people to help? And it might offset the revenue, but it also frees up more time for you. So as your time gets freed up, you now can put that into marketing, branding. How am I going to get more clients? How am I going to expand? Maybe at this point, we're trying to bid on contracts. Maybe we're trying to get our pound cake sold in restaurants. So now you have the time to do it. You don't have the time to do it when you're putting 14, 15 hours into the regular, day-to-day, let's get this going, the grind. So now you step back, and now you're stepping more into the role of CEO. because now you're overseeing how I'm going to bring this person in to do that, and that person's going to do this, and we're going to do this, and the company starts to grow even more.
Okay. Okay. I like that strategy, because you definitely can't burn both candles. I mean, you like you said, you have your 9 to 5, and now you've created a side hustle that's going to equal that. So, you have to make a decision. And some people will quit their job and start working their side hustle full time. But in your example, which is the best situation, you scale the business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I will say sometimes you do have to get to the point where you just take that leap.
Mm-hmm.
You It's not only you know when it's best to take that leap. I wouldn't take it from anyone else, because if you sink, you're going to be blaming those other individuals. So it's a lot of self-reflection, but you'll know when it's seriously time to make that leap. And if it's your decision, then you will work so hard to make certain that it works out.
But I feel like it's a smart move to scale the business while you still have the job, and grow the business in a safe kind of environment, while you still have the cushion, while you still have the benefits, while you still have, like I said, that cushion. And then you can bring on the employees, and grow in that space before leap over.
Absolutely. It's definitely much safer. But I will tell
Hmm.
you, I ended up taking the leap for myself.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I hit beautiful highs and I saw some ugly lows. So it's not something I recommend. Definitely scaling it is best. But I did start a business first, and the business was in existence for over a year before I did make the leap. But
Hmm.
the business was making about not even 400 a month at the time. But since its inception, I didn't need the money, so it was just sitting in the bank. So I was just letting the business income kind of grow, but
Hmm.
end up eventually just taking the leap.
Okay. Okay. Well, and so how do you merge the two in the future? So, you have the business and you have the side hustle, and now it's time to, merge them. How does that work?
Very calculated steps. So basically, you start looking at, like I said, how can you get someone to step in and help fill in? How can you work on expanding more, on growing? Many times we get so caught up in the day to day activities that I talk to so many clients who say, I don't have time to market. I don't have time to try to get more clients. And if you can't market and get more clients, how will the business grow? Eventually you're going to hit a plateau, and the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to lose business. So making time for those important things is imperative. So it's getting some of your time back so that you can scale it properly and get the people in. And as you start to merge the two, you might see a small dip in your revenue because now you're hiring people. But you could always start off with hiring independent contractors, which is also called 1099s. So
Hmm.
that they're not employees and you're not responsible for paying unemployment, Social Security, everything else for them, because you're still trying to scale your business. So bringing on an independent contractor is a lot more cost effective, but allows you to take some of those responsibilities off your plate so that you can focus on getting more revenue, getting more clients, and building the business. So making certain that you have that plan in place is imperative. Again, so many people say, I can't do it because I'm caught up in this. I don't have the time to do it. But if you don't have the time to market your business, who else is going to do it?
Right, right. I totally agree. So when we are talking about side hustles, what is if you had to give like the top three uh, things that come across your desk advice? Like, the things that come to you, and you're just like, if I can just tell people these top three things, what would that message be?
One, if you're not good with math and finances, please get with someone who is, or start working with the software that can help you.
Okay.
Too many times I talk to people who say, I'm not good at math. I hate math. That's not my forte. And then I say, well, who's handling the finances in your business? Oh, I am. What? This makes no sense if you're not good with it. If you're struggling with budgeting and you know you're not good with handling money, help bring someone in, just not to say you give them full autonomy over your company and your revenue, but bring someone else in who can at least assist, or work with a software, some type of accounting software that will allow you to keep track of what you're doing. It'll allow you to see, you can run profit and loss statements, business statements. You can run all types of forms where you can see the health of your business at any time. And it helps you with budgeting and putting those financial goals in place. So if that's not your forte, it's okay. Please get someone or get some advice or something to help you with that. Number two is seek out a business coach. And I get it. People say, I can't afford to hire a business coach at this time. But unfortunately, you can not afford to hire a business coach, because you have to make certain that your foundation is there.
Mm-hmm.
So many people attempted to get PPP this time and could not. And they could not because how they were operating their business, it was incorrect. So for instance, if you are being taxed as an S Corp, or you are an S Corp, then you should technically probably be a salaried employee of your company, meaning you have a W-2 with your business pays you, pays taxes, all of that. At that point, you probably should not be pulling out an owner's draw. But so many people were used to pulling out owner's draws when they first started, that even once they became an S Corp or are now taxed as an S Corp, they continue to do so. So when they went to apply for PPP and they wanted to see W-2s for you, or they wanting to see, actual physical statements of how people are being paid out of your company, you don't have it because you walk to the bank and just pull money out as you need. That's what you do when you operate as a sole proprietor.
Mm-hmm.
So it prevented so many people because they did not have the means to actually turn those documents over, because they didn't understand that the designation I selected and what I'm doing don't match up.
Don't match.
So if you get with a business coach, they can at least make certain you have that foundation. And I get it. It will cost you money. Meet with them a few times in the beginning and be honest. I can't afford this every month or every week, every other week. But I know I need it. So can we do an overhaul in the beginning, a few months, and then as my business starts to grow, I can add on appointments. Maybe I only meet with you quarterly until my business grows, and then I can start meeting with you every other month. And then I can grow to where I can meet with you every month. But at least you have some type of oversight to make certain that you're doing the right steps in your business. And there are free organizations out there that provide business coaching services. One in particular is the Tampa Bay Women's Business Center. They provide free business coaching services for businesses. But here's the catch. For most of those, if you're not serious enough to make the commitment and stick with it, then you end up losing access to the service. So canceling last minute, no showing, you end up losing that access. And now you have to go seek out a coach and pay. Or you don't do it, and now you don't have that information that you need. The last thing in establishing your business would be create your own business plan. Many times, I know nobody wants to do a business plan. I didn't want to do a business plan. And I used to do that out of law school. I used to do business plans for people, and I dread it at this point. But creating your own business plan does something. I have noticed over the years that my clients who created their own business plan can articulate every aspect of their business.
That's true.
Those who have not don't know half the things that they should know. When you ask them about target market, who are you trying to reach? Who's your audience?
That's true.
Ask them about who's your competition. Nobody. Someone is always your competition. Even if you've invented something totally brand new, people have been figuring out how to get by with what they've been doing. So technically, that's your competition. So you've got to be able to sit down and articulate your business, because if you're ever in the need of funding and you have to go to a bank or a financial institution to try to get funds, and they start talking to you and you can't articulate your own business, you're very likely to leave out of there empty-handed.
Yeah.
So it's making certain that regardless of what someone asks you, you can answer the question and answer it efficiently.
Wow. Yeah. So that definitely is the top three for sure. Definitely. And you kind of put me in a headlock on number three for sure. So I mean, that was my my hot spot for sure. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it, but it turned out to be the best thing for me to do, because it did give me a better understanding of the business. So you're 100% right there. So in our final minutes, Natasha, any closing comments that you want to leave with the village regarding side hustles, that if they can just kind of take with them so that they will have a better understanding of what they can expect in that space, especially with the economy the way that it is. We don't know if jobs are coming back or not, and people need to supplement their income. So what is your advice to that demographic?
For those individuals, especially during the pandemic, creating a side hustle can be very advantageous for individuals as well as families. As I mentioned earlier, pick something that there's actually a demand for and learn to pivot. Maybe in your mind, your side hustle was tutoring, and you were tutoring kids in your home. And now with the pandemic, that's very difficult and you can't do it. So what can you do? Think outside the box. Can you tutor through Zoom or some online platform? Can you, if you do still have them come to your home, can you socially distance and keep them all separate and still make it work? Think outside the box on ways that you can operate even during the pandemic. I know things are opening up and things are looking a lot better, but we don't know when this is going to be completely over and when we're going to be back to normal. You don't want your side hustle kind of on the back burner until we get there and saying, well, as soon as this is over, I'm going to start making money. Go ahead and start making the money now.
Yes.
Go ahead and start fulfilling some of those needs that people have. People have their kids in virtual school and doing online school. And these are parents who had to work, who couldn't homeschool, who've never homeschooled. So they don't have that experience. If you tutored, maybe that's what you do. Maybe you help oversee kids when they're doing virtual school right now until we move through the pandemic, and then you switch it up again. It's okay to switch your business model. It's okay. If the demand is asking for this right now, you give it to them. Did you see how many companies switched over and started making sanitizer that never in their life made sanitizer? Because when you see a demand, you step into it and you make that money. And now that nobody cares about sanitizer, they're like, I can go back to making liquor again. Mm-hmm. And now here we're making tequila. So be be in a position that you can move, that you can pivot, that you can do what's necessary. Because if you plant your roots and say, I said I'm making slushies and I'm only making slushies, then you might end up going down with Blockbuster.
Mm.
So be open and willing to really expand, grow, pivot, move, whatever you have to do in that side hustle, because that's what's going to help you get to the point where the side hustle is the business, and then the business becomes the big corporation. And who knows? Your kids take it over, you franchise, you do whatever you need to. But think about it. 10 years ago, who thought Netflix would be where it is today?
Exactly. Exactly. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for being with us. We definitely need to have you back next season. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, Village, we have had a jewel with us today, a subject matter expert, a community and political genius. I can tell you that. So, listen, next Sunday is going to be Mother's Day, so we won't be here. And then I'll be back with you the Sunday after that. And then we're going to be talking about COVID. Are your affairs in order? So we definitely have a little surprise for you there. So just remember, silence creates distance, but conversations with Kim builds the village. Thank you and bye-bye.